Well, hello everyone. However many there are of you here, I know this was kind of a last-minute thing, more technical kerfuffles. I had actually scheduled this much earlier, and for some reason it just never took. Thought it did, but anyway, here I am, and welcome to anyone who is interested in joining in on a bit of self-reflection, contemplation, and the willingness to devote a chunk of your day and a chunk of your life to the rather unique but significant practice of discovering who you really are. These aren't questions that people usually ask. I don't ask, who are you really? We just assume it's, whatever appears on our resume or CV, or, whatever we tell, the potential new boss, or going for an interview, or on a first date, you talk about your history and things you've done and education and the like. And that's all stuff you've done. It's all stuff you've learned, stuff you've experienced. Who's the you that is experiencing it? Taking all of that away. In fact, it's a wonderful little exercise to do. So why don't we just do it now? Why don't you all just, for a moment, close your eyes. Don't have to, but it's kind of nice to just close your eyes. And just kind of let your attention sink inside. And take a couple breaths, and that'll help deepen it. A couple of slow breaths. Make the exhale slower than the inhale. It has a very significant effect on just kind of slowing down and letting our attention move more inwards. And just for a little bit of time here, set aside everything. Set aside your ambitions. Set aside your desires. Set aside your future and your past. Set aside everything you want. Everything you've done, have learned. Really, just see if you could put aside memories, aspirations, just temporarily. I'm not asking you to become just total nothings, just for a time. Set aside the things that normally we use to define who we are, what we're about, what's important. And notice you can just set aside momentarily, doesn't have to be permanently, what you're feeling, what you're thinking, and just deciding instead to not make that the focus of your attention. And notice that when you do that, you're still here. Without definitions, without memories, without aspirations, without desires. You're still here. There's nothing wrong with any of that. All of it's fine. But just for a moment, set it all aside. Just everything that normally engages your attention. And just notice the simple fact that you're still here. Something here before all of the self-definitions, all of the ideas and assumptions and memories and experiences, before all of it, you were here. So, it's a simple recognition. And when you do that, you will find that the mind goes, okay, so how does this help me? How does this benefit me? How does this bring me to enlightenment? Or, fix my finances or get me a relationship? Just for now, don't pay any attention to those questions. They're important. But we're interested now more in not what some spiritual practice can do for us, but just, who am I? Before all the needs came up, before the desires, before experiences, before childhood traumas and wounds and all that. Without all the stuff we normally engage with, who am I? What's there? Not even really the question, who am I? Because it's so easy for us to get pictures in our minds. But just, what's there? When you're not associating yourself with anything. Just, I am. I exist. I'm here. No definitions, no associations. For those of you who are just joining, I'm just kind of spontaneously guiding through a little exercise, so you can close your eyes for this if you like, or just keep them open. So it's all about the focus of our attention and giving us the space to take our attention away from everything that normally engages us and just be. Find what's there. No beliefs, no assumptions, no ideas, but what's here. You're still here. And just notice it's just a quiet, undefined kind of presence. It's very real, but it's just a presence. You're just here. Now, without making a reference to something else outside, without referring to memory or thoughts, this place of just being, what is it like? Is it stressed? Or is it very quiet, even peaceful? Is it yearning for something? Does it have beliefs? Is it male or female? Now, I'm asking you simply to refer, not to any spiritual knowledge you might have, but to what you are actually experiencing yourself. When you're not engaged with all the normal stuff, but just feeling your own being. What's it like? Quiet? Without desire, is there anything lacking? Without referring to the mind, is there a problem somewhere? Just this sense I am, can you add anything to it? Can you make it more being? Can you take something away? Make it less? Is it that kind of a thing? Is it a thing at all? Now, how do you know that? You're seeing it, you're recognizing it, you're describing it. So is it different from you? Is it an it at all? What is it that you are describing? Fatima says, no, nothing is lacking and it's beyond words. How do you know that? Nobody told you. You didn't learn this at school. How do you know that it's not lacking and it's beyond words? Is it different from you? Is there a you, and then this other being that's not lacking and beyond words? Something is feeling that. Yeah, okay. What's that something? Feeling comes and goes. The ideas come and go, but what's feeling it? What's recognizing this? The only way you could know that nothing was lacking, that it was quiet, content, difficult to describe, is that it's you. You're describing yourself. Yes, there's a sense that there's a me here that is looking at something, but is that what's actually happening? Or is this a non-dual recognition? You simply recognizing yourself directly, not through a medium of thought or feeling or experience, but directly. What can possibly describe the infinite other than the infinite? How can you say with conviction it's beyond words? Unless you yourself are beyond words. How can you say there's nothing lacking unless you yourself are beyond lack? Domatilya, what am I if my memory was turned off without a reference point? Myself. Is that similar to what you were talking about? I'll give you an answer, but first I want you to look for yourself. What am I if I turn off memory? Right? I lost it, completely lost it. No idea. Are you not still here? So, without memory, you're still yourself. Right? The self that's there before your name, before your gender, before beliefs, before conditioning, before any of that. You were. Now there's nothing wrong with reference points, we interact in the world. But here, we want to know who we are so we don't mistake the reference points we use for the world for who we actually are. You follow that? Sure, I show up. I have to be a worker, an employee, an employer, a partner, a friend, a mother, a sister, a daughter, a grandfather. But am I those? And what am I then without all those labels? What's there that's taking on the role? So I think you can see Dhammatila, Tila, that it is, what you're saying is exactly what I'm talking about. What I'm asserting here is that this is something that deserves a lot of your attention, because our habit is always, the way we've been conditioned, is to always identify ourselves with the role that we're playing. And we don't spend much time looking at who I am separate from the role. And there's a reason for that. Because notice, when you just dispossess yourself of memory and ambition and everything that engages us, what remains? What shape does it have? What form? What beliefs are there? What content? What character? It's empty. This is what is meant by that term, emptiness. It doesn't mean vacuous. It means empty of any shape, form, concrete definition. Dhammatila says, yes, still here, even without a reference point. Easier to hear you, by the way. Thank you. You're welcome. This is an exercise to be done regularly. Just even little chunks. You don't have to turn this into a ritual. 2 hours a day and all that. You get 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Just every now and then, just stop for a second and notice. I am. I'm doing, there's a lot of things going on. I'm engaged. My mind is engaged. My attention is engaged. And I am. And that I am is formless. Again, don't take my word for it, just look. Any shape, any form, any definition is going to be mind. Isn't it? Just set it aside, and you are still here. Completely and totally empty. Not void, not vacuous, not non-existent, just pure being. Okay, take a breath, and you can let attention turn back around again towards your screen, and open your eyes and take things in and engage on another level. But as you do that, are you going away? Is the sense of your own being, I am, is that diminished? Is it smaller? Or is it always here? Of course it is, because you're always here. So on that note, I'll take a sip of my java here and invite any questions you might have. I guess it's been over a month since I've, all my traveling and the like, and the rather a schedule with no regularity to it whatsoever. That's the best way to put it. Which has its merits and also its demerits. So, hello, Patricia. So good to see you. And Rosario, and David and Elaine. Haven't seen you in a bit. Well, I haven't seen anybody in a bit. I just recently resumed doing my classes, and as you can see, I'm not living where I used to live. I'm at my son's house right now as I kind of decide what's next, and just kind of watching as life unfolds itself. It's freedom is not something that is, as it said, freedom is free, but it's not cheap. Well, I want to be free, I want to be free, I want to be free, but with freedom comes what? Spontaneity? Not much in the way of certainty. What it really means is that you're finding within yourself the capacity to be your own authority, to choose things based on your own deep sense of being and how it unfolds in your life. So, but enough of that. Hello, Fatima. Kandalaft, is that how I say your last name? Kandalaft? Yeah, feels that way. So glad you noticed all of that, but yeah. Again, I reiterate that nothing is lacking, and it's beyond words. But what's saying that? What's recognizing that? That question is the heart of non-duality and who am I? Because nothing can recognize the self other than the self. So if you recognize it, you must be the self. Yeah, the self, the Buddha nature, the great awakening, pure awareness, is not something you will become in the future. It is recognition that you are that right now. Which is the thing that the mind and the sense of identity created by the mind is extremely reluctant to admit. Matter of fact, it can't. It can't admit it. So the truth is, you already are the self. You already are awake. You already are enlightened. But there's these thoughts that say you're not. You're on your way. Going to get there. Look, almost close. This close, maybe 30 more years. 10,000 more hours meditating, or maybe 10 lifetimes. But not quite. Not quite. You've had glimpses. But the recognition that this is what I am is not something your mind does. It's something that you just hits your heart. And a meditation or exercise like we just did is to help bring your attention to some simple facts that point to exactly that. What can recognize the truth other than the truth? If I'm recognizing that, I must be that. I'm recognizing my own being. No one sees him but himself. That's from the Sufi mystic Balyani. No one knows him but himself. No one reaches him but himself. You already are that. There's just all these thoughts that have been believed that you're not. And, just to put in the kicker, if you like it, the believer of those thoughts is also a belief. Being witnessed by the pure I am. Just I am. Spend time there. Fall in love with it. It's weird at first because there's nothing there other than you. But of course that's the point, right? We want to experience ourselves with nothing additional added. Me, just as I am, before anything else gets put on. Right? Kind of spiritually naked. Right? Before any clothes have happened, before any definitions have happened, before any roles have to be played. Just being. Spending time with that. You'll find that you don't need to do anything to make that begin to have influence in your everyday experience. One of the students in my classes just yesterday had said she had done something she didn't normally do, you see, and she just kind of did it, and later on noticed, my goodness, I didn't react at all. Her reactive patterns, which normally there would have been fear and anxiety, they just weren't there, and she didn't even notice until later went, wait a minute. That's what happens. This kind of permeates everything and takes over simply because you are giving your attention to you. Just you. The I, the sense of I am this, I am that, is coming back home to the simple I am. I am. Prior to I am this or that, I am. And then all the rest, the forms will come, the forms will go. Yeah. Sometimes, oftentimes, you'll be identified with that form. And then you'll catch it. You go, oh, wait a minute. But who's catching it? Right? The false self, the false sense of identity, the ego can't smell its own breath. It's not catching itself. The I am that you are is catching it. Ah, that's not who I am. No matter what it feels like, no matter how big and influential and overwhelmed you might feel, it can't change the truth. You are that. Okay. Mary says, greetings. Hello, Mary. Wonderful to have you here. Domitila, I am without form, but most of the time it is just an idea, like you said before. The mind still, it's doing the listening or seeing. Yes, but it isn't. The mind is seeing. It is not doing the seeing. So just be with that. Right? Yes, I have always thought that the mind, and I'm going to attain awakening through the mind, and that there's something here that is seeing and listening, trying to find this ultimate thing. But all seeing and all listening and all hearing, all consciousness, all cognizance belongs to the self. So who are you then? Since you are hearing, you are seeing, you are experiencing, who are you? There's a thought that says, there's another me that's doing all this, trying to get to the true me. Okay? And there's the flaw. That becomes the practice of lifetime spirituality, which is good. And most of you have probably, most of you have probably already done a lot of that in this life and past lives. But you don't need to do that anymore. It is just a belief. That's it. A belief that has not been seen to be a belief yet. And who's going to see that it is a belief? What can spot something that's a belief and not the truth, other than the truth? A belief can't spot itself. It's just a perception. That's all it sees. So what's back here that goes, oh, it's not true? That's not who's actually doing the seeing. Are you following that, Dhamma Tila? Because this will break you out of that and into the next level. Or maybe out of it altogether. If there really aren't any levels, but in our experience there is. We experience growth. But eventually even that is seen as being just part of the play. I reiterate that because it's like the most important thing. The mind thinks still it is doing the listening or seeing. There's no mind as an entity that is thinking. There is only thinking happening. There's the flow of thoughts that are perceived. And even mind is a belief that there's an entity thinking. And in fact, there's just a flow of thoughts. And the thoughts themselves are simply ripples in just the infinite vastness of the consciousness, Brahman, self, pure awareness. And so mind doesn't actually exist. There's no entity that you have to try to deal with. If I think the mind's an entity doing this thinking, somehow I've got to get rid of the mind or fix it or make it think better. But in fact, it doesn't exist. There is no mind. It is just a word. It's an idea projected on what our experience actually is, which is the experience of thoughts. And our beliefs about the thoughts is that there's some kind of an entity outside of our control. And in fact, they're nothing but ripples in consciousness. It is the dynamic aspect of consciousness. And what is consciousness? You. Remember, you alone are cognizing this. There's not two things here. There's not a mind seeing or a person seeing, and the self over here waiting to be seen. There is only the one conscious awareness. Only one. Which means the one hearing my words right now and seeing me on the screen right now is the self. The one and only awareness. Contemplate that differently and deeply, and it will make all the difference. It will, by merely giving consistent attention to that and feeling it in your heart, because notice your mind won't agree with this, but something inside you says, yes, this is true. Paying attention to that which knows, which is truth, it will do the job of dismantling and dissolving all the falsities, the ego, the person, the separate self. you'll find that it's not a personal burden, which is great. I've had enough of those in my life. That is by grace. This is the grace of God, which is simply the grace of truth. The truth being the truth of you. This is the great liberation. It's the great salvation. It is the essence of the great teachings. It's you. You are that. And it kind of goes from, it's the burning bush thing with Moses. It goes from, I know that I am, to I am that I am. It's no longer I just know this. It's no longer a thought, an idea. Oh, I am that I am. One. No separation, no distance. And you see that when you're describing the infinite, which of course can't be described except, story, song, all the different ways in which it does get expressed. I can't ever express the entire thing. It's inexhaustible, but you see that it's simply the self expressing itself. That's what your human life is. Not a mistake, not a problem to be solved. But you, Damatila, Christina, Fatima, Mary, everybody here, is the self expressing itself. And knowing itself. And even experiencing itself as having forgotten who it is, which it can't actually do. But it can, because it's beyond everything. It has no limits whatsoever. It is eternally free, which makes it free to be bound, and yet remain free. Music makes a song, but isn't stuck in that song. Remains. If that song is never heard, music still is. It's a great way of, I think, of coming to understand this, that the self manifests itself as individuals, never ever losing its essence as the infinite unbounded self. Even the word self can be problematic. That's why Buddha chose to use no self instead. But that's got its own problems for stuff. But it's both. There's no self as an entity, as a thing, as a person, with a form and a definition. The self is simply the truth of you, who you really are. And notice, you can know that. It doesn't mean suddenly, you become boring, you have no sense of humor, you don't have relationships, trying to enjoy, some good intimacy, or, I used to like steaks, I became enlightened, so now I only eat tofu salads. It's not like that. Yes, changes happen, but there's no rules to it. There's no boundaries. It's really free. You're really free now. Christine says hello from me and my little dog too, Yanko. In my classes, I love it when the people bring their animals there, and their children too. It just adds so much. I need to take a sip of my morning green drink. There's all my superfood vegetables and vitamins and all sorts of things here. Oh, that's good. I'll turn my coffee into iced coffee after we're done here. Fatima, yes, I absolutely agree on what you said about freedom. Actually, the more time I spend in spirituality, the more I feel like human life is just a dream, not very different from dreams at night. Absolutely true. But don't dismiss the beauty of the dream. Knowing it's a dream doesn't suddenly make everything disappear. knowing that the mirage I'm seeing in the desert is a mirage doesn't mean it goes away, right? Knowing that the sun isn't actually moving across the sky, but we're turning and it looks like it. It doesn't make that appearance go away. You just now understand. You're no longer bound by it. You no longer suffer for it. Right? So it doesn't diminish it by saying it's a dream. It actually frees you to experience it, be really engaged in it, but not engaged as somebody, as a person, limited, afraid, trying to get something, having opinions and the like, but you're engaging with it as the self, as who you really are, which means it's all you. It's all you. At night, you have a dream, and there's characters in your dream and experiences. There's other people that in waking state but they're not really there. It's all you. That's you speaking through them. When you see yourself as the self, you realize that your essence, your individual form is still different, and you're experiencing yourself from this perspective, but everyone is the same self, the shared being, you might say. But it doesn't deny or diminish the individuality at all. Individuality and form are not a problem. The problem is when I identify myself with the form. So this form is now what I am, rather than just a momentary expression of me. It's simply the image in the mirror and not the original. When I think the form is me, I'm like stuck in it now, and now become others and a world. Fear, separation, all of that arises, but it's not really true. The form is there, just like the desert is there, but the person, the thoughts that say, I am that form, are not there. Right? That's the illusion, just like the mirage in the desert. And you see that, that's just an idea that has taken root, and it's not really me. I'm the one seeing it. And now the person, that is the belief of a separate self, or the I am the form, gradually, but not necessarily slowly, just kind of reverts, recedes, takes a step back. So the I becomes more, I am the person, to I am. I just am. Appearing as this, appearing as that, but I am not my appearance. I'm the cause of the appearance. Christina says, when you announced there's tea with G today, I thought it's been a while since we didn't do a small meditation like you did before in the beginning of the satsang. Yeah, it came very spontaneous. I thought of it earlier, but then I started talking at the beginning today of tea, and wasn't going to do it. Didn't seem like it was going that way, and then all of a sudden it did. Spontaneity. It's always a surprise. Yeah. Yeah, so I hope that exercise was useful for you all. I'll listen back to it later and see if it's if the quality's good enough. I may just kind of take it out and put it there on its own. Because it's a very simple practice. Just you could do it right now. Just stop right now and notice, I am. You can take a couple of breaths if you like. I teach that in the classes because it becomes kind of a ritual that helps the body more quickly change states. But it's not 100% necessary. You can do it when you're driving a car. You don't have to close your eyes. Just notice that, oh yes, I am. Just I am. And yep, I'm still here. No matter what I'm doing, no matter what is happening, no matter how wonderful I'm feeling, or how stressed or distressed I'm feeling, I'm still here. And that I am, that sense I am, is it distressed? Or is distress an experience that it's you are having? It's subtle, because the sense of I am says, I am having that experience. I'm struggling with this. This is a problem. I've got to get rid of this. What am I supposed to do? I'm meditating until I'm turning blue in the face. That's meditating as the person trying to get rid of the person. Instead, yes, there's a very strong sense that I am this. It's my problem, and I'm stuck with it, and I've got to do something about it. But notice that, too, is part of the whole package here. That you can step back from and notice that, well, the I am itself is not stressed. It's quite quiet, peaceful. It can experience the feelings that we call distress. But what happens if those experiences we call distress happen, but there's no sense of a person that says, got to get rid of it, forms some kind of relationship with it, got to get rid of it, I hate it, this is wrong, I should be feeling this, I'm terrible, I should be more spiritual, or whatever form it takes. That never happened, never occurred. There was just a feeling in the body. Whatever it is, pleasure, pain, would any of those things become problematic without this other thing that creates a person taking a position for or against it? But if you stay with the I am, you'll begin to see that that person who is for or against it, the taking of a position or forming a relationship with the experience, is itself a very subtle movement, which means it's being perceived by me, which means it isn't me. It's just an experience. This is the more subtle realm of the sense of a separate self, where you're no longer trying to fix a separate self. You're not trying to become a spiritual person. You've already all done that. You don't need to do that anymore. But you want to see that you are not a person at all. That is, you're not a form or a shape or a particular thing. You are just me. What is that? I don't know. Just me. I don't have to define it. I don't have to know what it is, because I couldn't know what it is anyway, because if it's formless, what is it? I just am. That's it. Ava says, sorry, I do not wear from this. What? I do not know where from this HV, and so on. Sorry, Ava, I didn't understand that. Let's see, Fatima. Actually, the more I spend... Oh, yeah, I already covered. I got that one. Yes, I get your point. So only the absolute can recognize. Yeah. Are there two? Is there you, the separate self, that somehow, through some weird kind of thing, is going to become the self? Is this two somehow going to become one? Or is the two an illusion, a misunderstanding, a faulty perception? That if I see the diversity which is everywhere, and I think each one of these things is a separate, individual, objective, functioning entity, now there are many, How do you make all those one? You can't. But if what I'm looking at, what I am perceiving, is not an entity, but a manifestation, an appearance of something, and that goes for this body, the computer I'm doing this on, the headphones I have on my head, all of you, if they're not an entity, but each an appearance, then we are all, in fact, one. Just countless, numberless faces on the same soul, the same essence. So the individuality that is perceived and the singularity of the essence of it are not two. It is the self knowing itself. That's the only knower there is. Oh, ponder that. Contemplate that. My teacher Muji would say, get into your sleeping bag and zip it up. Stay with it. Just immerse yourself into it. All right. Wait a minute. I'm seeing, but there's only one awareness in the universe. There are not two awarenesses. There's only one. Just by rational thinking, reasoning, I must be that one. You look at that and go, but all of these say I'm not. But, okay, my own reasoning has proven to me that, yes, if there's only one awareness, then I must be it. That it must be that awareness perceiving all of this. Must be. But no. But then there's all these doubts and arguments. And, well, okay, but isn't it just the awareness that's perceiving all of these doubts and arguments? So it becomes, I am the, instead of what we know, I am the self. I'm the self, but there's all this stuff in this. And it very simply becomes, I am the self, and there's all this stuff. Nothing has to change to be what you are. Does it? I mean, that, plus maybe you've even had tastes of it. And on top of that, every sage that has ever walked the earth has said exactly the same thing. You are that. Not going to become it. Didn't lose it. You are that. There's just the thought that says you're not. And an image of somebody who isn't believed to be an entity. Only the truth knows the truth. Only love knows love. Only awareness is aware. Only consciousness is conscious. You are that. You are that, no matter how many doubts are there, no matter how much stuff comes up, no matter how much of any other kind of experience, I am that, and all this shit's happening. They are not mutually exclusive. There's no special state you get to, oh, now I'm enlightened. I've experienced those states. Just the unmitigated bliss, and I'm one with everything. But I mistook the experience of it for the reality of it. And so it became simply an experience. Right? And of course, we would love to have all suffering and misery turning into heaven on earth. Wouldn't it be great? It would be great. Absolutely fantastic. And we could have it. We could have Eden here on the earth. We have all the knowledge, the resources, the innovation, everything we need, right, to do that. And let's say we do. So now it's just wonderful. There's no wars, there's no poverty, there's no disease. It's just absolutely perfect. Yeah. For many, that would be the ultimate spiritual state. But for the jnani, for the sage, yes, it's beautiful. Thank you. I'm enjoying every minute of it. But who's experiencing it? Oh, right. It's just an experience. Preferable, for sure, but undoubtedly my 4-year-old granddaughter, just, maybe you guys didn't hear that bang from upstairs, but she was in her earlier trying to get me to play a game while we were doing the meditation. At any rate, what was I talking about? It doesn't matter that there are doubts. They don't have to go away. Yeah, you can doubt it all you want. There can be all sorts of doubting thoughts. But are you the doubter, or just the perceiver of doubting thoughts? And there's all sorts of wonderful, fantastic, heavenly, glorious thoughts and feelings. Are you those? No. It's okay. Let them be there. Enjoy them. Matter of fact, as this deep sense of being permeates more and more human life, you will experience more and more of that. More and more just serendipity. Amazing things happening for no reason, just stuff happening. But you'll also experience enormous shifts and changes and things going on. But don't think that's it, because that's the fruit. That's not the tree. That's the perfume. That's not the flower. Don't stop until you come home, which is that which is aware of all experience, no matter what it is. You are that, indescribable, the absolute. And the only distinction there is that, for those of you who are ready to ponder this, and maybe some of you are, notice that the sense I am, which is pure, I just am, powerful, influential. It's the source of everything, actually. But even though it's extremely subtle, and it's just simply the fact of being, that too is being perceived. That too is known. What knows that? Of course, it's you. But this is the you beyond even the sense I am. Even before the sense I am could arise, the self-knowing I am, you must have been. Pure being. That's the absolute. That is the... I say the absolute. How many different ways can I say that? The ground. There is nothing beyond that. And you are that. This is not knowable. The first perceivable is I am. But what's perceiving I am? Now, if this whizzes by you and it's like, and your mind is too active, just go back to just I am. The sense I am. Because it's pure. Absolutely pure. Motionless. Formless. Right? That is, its form is so subtle that only the absolute can perceive it. And the I am is simply the theme that echoes throughout the whole universe. Everything in the universe is I am. Exist. Being. Everything that has being draws its being from being. Absolute truth. prior to even the words truth. There's not even anything other than truth there, so you can't say truth or not truth. There's nothing but there are no opposites there. So you can't say existence or not existing. There are no opposites. It is just pure isness. Can you follow? And if you can't, do you want to? Or a better way of putting it, can you just feel something in your heart? Listen to that. Don't give it to the mind. That little piece of advice took me quite a while to understand. Heard it numerous times from my teacher. Don't give it to your mind. Okay. And I didn't think I was, but then I realized I was. I was trying to get my mind to agree with what I was seeing. It's like, it's never going to agree, and it doesn't have to. It can be as belligerent and as doubtful and as antagonistic as it wants. It doesn't change a thing. The truth is something that hits your heart, and we point here, right? The heart center kind of thing, because there's definitely energy there, but this heart is not located anywhere. There's a beautiful story about Black Elk, who was a shaman of, I can't remember which tribe it was, one of the Dakota tribes. Very young age, had these experiences, and they recognize. Here we'd say, oh, the kid's having a problem, we have to put him on drugs. They go, oh my God, this is a shaman. Bring him off to the shaman to have them trained. I think most people who are very mentally ill or in institutions, they don't need therapists or medicine. They need a guru. But he had this huge vision, right? And he came back from that vision. By the way, the peyote and plant medicine, all that, the shaman training, at least for a lot of the tribes, they did that after they had the vision. So it was just pure, direct experience first. Anyway, he said he came back and he saw the hoop of the world. Images, the whole world. He says that the center of the universe was Harney Peak in North Dakota. He said, but the center of the universe is everywhere. The center of the universe is you, and the center of the universe is everywhere. Brent says, I love you, G. Such a legend. Thank you, Brent. Stand on the shoulder of giants. Fatima, right. But can you have desires completely without attachment? Yes. Desires don't come with attachment. Desires just come, and then attachment attaches to them, right? Could you attach to something if it didn't exist? So desires are there first. There's nothing inherent about a desire that makes it an attachment. So I'm really attached to my lattes, right? Almond milk. And I'm one of those guys who's annoying. Almond milk, split shot, half decaf, half regular. I want the unsweetened almond milk if you have it. I want it at 190 degrees and double cup it if I don't have my own thing. Annoying, isn't it? Somebody else goes, God, I don't want that. Yeah. Give me a cup of coffee and a Bismarck. So the desire is innocent. It's just part of life. All of our desires are just part of life. Desire to eat, to mate, right? To succeed, to build, to create, right? If the desire arises in an environment that's highly identified, that desire is going to be judged and either attached to or rejected. It's actually in the flow. Yeah. You should take one of my classes because I talk about desire arising, and the desires themselves are absolutely innocent and pure. There's no such thing as a negative, sinful, bad desire. Desires are always pure, but when they bubble up into our conscious awareness, they're now going to be interpreted and given meaning based on the culture and all that, all that sort of thing, so that the desire is now mistaken. Right? And so, bad desire, don't have an attachment to that. The deepest insight into attachment and aversion is simply expecting from a desire something it cannot give you. Right? Buddha even said once that the desire is not the source of suffering, but the desire for something that doesn't exist. An example I love to give is a romantic relationship, very natural to us all. We all want it, right? And it's wonderful. All sorts of wonderful things a relationship like that can bring into your life. It can be healing, it can be supportive, it can be secure, it can be an environment by which really deep wounds can be exposed and loved into wholeness. Right? Now, if I'm looking to that personal relationship to give me a sense of my own value, my sense of own worth, my happiness comes when I get that and not until, now I'm wanting something that doesn't exist because it doesn't have it. It does not have that to give. So some will say, shouldn't have those though. Be celibate and even Paul said, if you can't be celibate, because that's what he thought everybody should do, then get married so you don't burn. Really, nothing about children or anything like that. But that if you see that the stuff in our life can do certain things for us, and if we just let them do that, there's a beautiful need and fulfillment that takes place. The moment we think something is going to give us something that it can't give, like happiness, sense of well-being, awakening, whatever that might be, at that point we suffer because we're looking for something that isn't there. We're looking into an empty filing cabinet. We're looking for the pony in the dung. It's not there. It is there. It's got to be there. That's the attachment that needs to be broken. You don't need to. There's no problem with desire. Life is completely run by desire. If it wasn't for desire, if your mom and dad hadn't at least once desired each other, you would not be here. Right? Everything happens because of that. Desire is simply life, the movement of life. Attachment is when I expect something from it that it can't give. That's it. And it can't give you the truth of you. It can't tell you who you are. Right? It can provide wonderful things, but it can't tell you who you are. Only you can tell you who you are. Only you can come to know that. Only you can experience it by looking at you and nowhere else. Enjoy the rest. Matter of fact, the more you know who you are, that is, the more you are taken over by grace, the more you will enjoy it all. You'll appreciate it. You won't try to get from it something it can't give, which means you can get fully what it does have to offer. And you'll also recognize that these things come and go. Everything is impermanent, and so you don't try to hold on to it. when it has run its course, and that means that every moment of it is precious. It's not throwaway, it's precious. So let's see. Yes. So yeah, desires, attachment comes after. It's mind that has a particular view and a meaning given to the desire. The desires do not come with attachment. I mean, just look for yourself. I'm not making this up. Just look. When a desire arises, does it say does it announce itself with an attachment? Or does the attachment come immediately after it has arisen? The desire is pure, it's innocent. Everything in life is pure and innocent. My very first unsought, completely unsought spiritual experience was just that was shown to me in a very dramatic way, which I tried to reproduce. But I was just shown the original innocence. It's all innocent. And so was I. I didn't think so. I just hated myself. But suddenly there's this innocence, this glorious, glorious purity. And all the rest was not me. Everything in life is pure and innocent. Everything, my loves, everything. You are. Spirituality is the road back to your original being, your original innocent purity. It is not making you pure. It is removing everything that is not you, and you find you always have been, and everything has been. Eating the tree of the knowledge, the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, shifted Adam and Eve's perception. It didn't change Eden. It just opened them to another dimension of experience, which they then had to go through in order to recapture Eden, that original innocence, but not just as an ignorant child, but as the truth itself, as the Godhead, you might say. I mean, it even says, now they have become like us, knowing good and evil. We were never meant to stay in Eden. It represents the fall of the unconscious innocence of childhood to the sense of being corrupted and broken, to be regained, recaptured. That same original innocence, but now consciously. That's awakening. Maybe when you realize that you are also the thing you desire. Ultimately, what we are desiring, the thing that nothing on earth can quench, is myself. I want to feel myself, reconnect to myself. Well, reconnect is a misnomer because you don't really disconnect ever. You just, in belief, the experience, the fall, all of that, right? Now, you want to be engaging with the desire that is experienced, not as a lacking person that needs to get something, right, from out there, but as the self-contained reality from which it's all come, that is enjoyed. Right? You don't try to get anything from it, you're just giving to it. And yet enjoying it because it's coming, because for every giver there's a receiver, right? And you're both the giver and the receiver, and that's that's how you experience the wonder of love being made manifest. So the desires are still there, right? when you recognize the spiritual path is, my deepest desire is to know myself directly, nothing out there can satisfy that. Okay? If I'm hungry, I want my latte, that can be satisfied. Here in Seattle, it's only going to cost $7. When I was on retreat, they had oat milk and almond milk lattes. It's a little stand in Little Jamaica, and it was only 150 euro, or 170 euro, with oat milk or almond milk. I get iced coffee there too. It's like the best. But at any rate, yeah, that can be satisfied. But that latte, that can't satisfy my deep desire to know me. That can only come by looking at me, which means looking at the sense I am, because that's you, without anything else added. So if you want to know you, pay attention to you, spend time with you, look at you. Right? Set aside all the pictures of you. I am this or that. No, I just am. And you will eventually realize yourself. That's what self-realization means. It's not something that can come from outside. Nobody can tell you who you are. The greatest master ever could tell you who you are. Nisargadatta, Ramana, none of them could. That's why Ramana oftentimes would just sit in silence, and people would all around him. He was just pure presence, with no sense whatsoever of being separate from you. That's what penetrates. Enough about that. Domitilla. Yeah, saying that right. Domitilla. So I recognize all form as me, but not as a form, but as the absolute. All form, yes. It's like looking into a mirror. It all represents you, right? And so in a sense, it's all you, right? But you are not that form. You're the source of the form. The form is your manifestation. And so you're recognizing the form as the absolute, the source of that very form. And so now there's no separation whatsoever, is there? It's like I can hear music, piece of music, and go, oh yeah, that's Mozart. That's Stravinsky. That's Jimi Hendrix, right? That's Eddie Van Halen, right? That's pentatonics. I can recognize all of that, right? Because there's an individuality there. And I can recognize the music. And, Mozart, it's not in the music, right? But he is manifest. You can't separate him, can you? And all this is you take a bigger step back and you see there's an essence to all being. And I am that. So all being is the manifestation of the self, or myself. And there's where you can see. You can say the self, and everything's okay. I say myself, and suddenly, boom, that my has all sorts of things attached to it, doesn't it? There's a person. There's the sadhana, dismantling that. Wait a minute, okay. I say myself, and all of this stuff comes up, presenting me with an image of somebody trying to get to the self. Right. But the truth is, myself, the self, are one. They're not two. Which means the presentation to me of a person is not the reality. It's another movement. And I'm not the one trying to become enlightened. I'm not that one either. Although that phase of being the seeker has to happen. It's part of the program. None of this is a mistake. You didn't make a mistake. You didn't some stupid thing you did and you had the fall. The fall is just kind of built into it. The devil works for God. Maya works for God. In fact, in the Old Testament, Satan was not a proper name. That came much later, even after the New Testament was written. It became medieval times. It really became the devil. Satan was a title. It was just the obstructor, something that got in the way. So it was the Satan, or a Satan, right? Satan actually is how it's pronounced. Right? And Satan was, one of the folks who worked for God. God, throw a monkey wrench in it. Let's see what happens. The idea was Satan is the snake wrapped around the tree, tempting him. That came much later. That's not actually what they were referring to. It had nothing to do with it. It's just, what did it represent? It represented the fact that we all need to be broken out of the unconscious, undifferentiated consciousness. We all start as the unconscious innocence into fully aware, self-aware innocence, goodness, purity, reality. And that happens through the process of the fall, the shattering, the ordeal, and this whole process of spiritual sadhana, which eventually culminates in being touched by, exposed to, and touched by, what I believe with all my heart is the ultimate teaching, which I'm just doling out here right now. No more long bouts of anything. No, it's just self-denial for no reason. No more rituals. No more just repentance, trying to purify oneself. Goes right to the heart of it. Who are you? The truth has always been the truth. You've all done your penance. You've all done your time, right? On that path of spiritual sadhana, of the progressive path, and the self-improvement and all of that, which is a form of the progressive path. You've all done your time. You're done now. That's fulfilled itself. You don't need any more of that. But you do need the right guidance for really exploring this and seeing clearly what's you and what isn't. Through your own direct looking. No more beliefs, no more practices, no more repentance, no more improving, no more development of character. None of that's needed anymore. Just the honest, willing to look. And speaking from experience, it requires guidance. Not forever, but in everybody's life, the truth of you, the reality of you, which is calling back the sense of I, the prodigal son or daughter, the false sense of separation, back to the I am and then back to the absolute, is what appears in your life, manifests as the teacher, the guru, the guide. But it really isn't. It's you. Appearing in a form that the identified you can embrace, accept, follow, and eventually come back to the fact that it's been you all along. But the real you, not the you thought you were. Let's see here. Oh, I love being with you all. I've missed this. Mary Sykes, I'm experiencing something right now and I'm willing to admit how I feel here. When one has allowed herself to be gaslighted and talked down to, and just wanting to be away from this person, really seeing that I don't like him, nor to be around him, that now something physical has happened to him. I have no feeling of great concern, just mild concern, is he has been so negative about everything around him that he thinks he is better than everyone else. I'm in the middle of sort of a quandary about this coldness that I feel. As I tried to warn him about his ways, he would not listen to me, but he listens to our son. I give up. That's a good start. The song, You Lost That Love and Feeling, comes to mind. Oh, great song. Great duo, Righteous Brothers. I did not want to share such a personal issue here, but thanks in advance for your advice. Everything that happens in our lives, every severance of ties. Look, human romance, human love, is not an absolute. It fluctuates. If you have two spiritually mature, I mean really mature people, in a relationship, you can perpetuate that bliss, that initial fire, right? It's always going to ebb and flow. There's always going to be times that not. But you can, if you want to, and it matters to you, you can sustain it. You can. It is possible to have a love affair that continues for your whole life. It is possible. Right? It's rare, but it is possible. Right? But it takes two. If you don't have that, there's no way you can sustain that loving feeling. You can't, because it's not being fed. Right? When we're talking about the ultimate love, accepting everything just as it is, yes, that's there. But that doesn't mean I've got to just accept everything in my life as it is, and that's it. It's not a resignation to stuff that sucks, okay? Let's be clear. It's not resignation. Because that love allows you to have a recognition that maybe in this case, the relationship I want isn't possible. So then, what do I want? What matters most to me? Now, it's a long-term relationship. There's going to be a lot of elements, right? Because everything has become entangled. Finances and friends and everything. So it may not be so easy to just kind of break it off. But you don't have to do... we don't have to approach this like something I've got to do as a person. Step back. Right? You're honest. You're regular. This is where I am. This is how I actually feel about it. Good. Now step even further back. To be the one who sees that through the eyes of pure love. And that pure love is not anything other than, I see what it is. I see my human desire and my human needs. They're not being fulfilled. They're not going to be fulfilled. In fact, I'm not even being respected. Right? That's not acceptable behavior for me. That's all seen, right? And don't jump in to try to take action about this. Step back to be that seer that is not touched by it, right? But is not dismissing of it. And just, okay, all of this is here. I see it. All I want is for the most equitable, gentle, and loving resolution to this. That's all I want, and I don't care how that happens. And you just stay with that like a prayer. It's like, not my will, but thine be done. Right? But don't assume, the will is like, the Christian upbringing you had and all of that. Because that's nonsense. It's just, I don't want to become the person trying to make something happen. I want to remain as the loving witness, right? That is, by its very nature, replacing discord with harmony in human life. And really try to let go of that. Let go of that is, let go of trying to be the person that has to fix it. So that every bit of spiritual juice and insight and maturity that you can glean from this current deprivation doesn't get lost. Because I have to say, I gained a whole lot more spiritually from the deprivations than from the fulfillments. Having said that, there's more fulfillment now than there is deprivation, but it's because I had to come to terms with it. And it is an opportunity to let go of the person. That's the difference here between just kind of let go of expectations and all of that, which I might do in emotional healing. You're letting go of the person who has a vested interest or preference in the outcome, and just being yourself, the pure I am that's untouched by it. And the more you settle into that, the more you'll find that it isn't touching you. Even his gaslighting and all the stuff, it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't care. And the desire for a deeper experience of the in harmony that is inherent in the I am, that desire gets purer and purer, less stuff stuck on top of it, less expectations about it, less person there. It finds its own fulfillment. But on this path, you get to find your freedom despite all of that. And then watch how that freedom kind of makes whatever adjustments are needed. But you do not need to make an adjustment to find your peace and your freedom. That's important. That's secondary. That's the wake in the boat. It's not the direction of the boat. Is this helping, Mary? Did I miss something up here? No, I don't think so. Christina, not one is opposed to many, but one that has no boundary. Its center is everywhere and its circumference is nowhere. Yes. And it includes all that appears as many. So you see, in the true non-dual, there's neither many nor one, is there? If it's all one, there's not many, nor is there one. Not as we would think of one and many. The distinction just disappears. There's no. You see, it's inconceivable because our minds can't go there, but you can feel it. It's like, well, yeah, of course it is. Existence, not non-existence. It's irrelevant. What does that mean to me? Let me see if I can grab something really quick from the Advaita Gita here. I'm beyond the sorrows of attachment. I'm the one reality. No, that's not what I was looking for. There's something else. There's no real distinction between the imaginer and the imagination. Between high and low, I am the same self in all. Between inner and outer, I'm the same self in all. If there's only one, I'm the same self in all. Why lament then, O mind? I'm the same self in all. There's no real distinction between cause and effect. A poem and its words are the same. There's no knowledge and no ignorance in unity. There's no near and no far in the experience of unity. There's no time, no eternity. Why lament thou, O mind? I am the same self in all. There's no space in the jar, nor even a jar. There's no container of the soul, nor even a soul. There's no separation between cause and effect. This one even says, one of my favorites is here, speaking of this undifferentiated, there's no distinction such as divided or undivided, no distinction as within or without. Beyond the distinction of enemy or friend, I'm the same self in all. There's no disciple or non-disciple in one reality. There's no one evolving and no one not evolving. Here in the state of unity, everyone is eternally free. I'm the same self in all. Self beyond form and formlessness. It's beyond division and non-division. It's beyond creation and the absence of creation. Is it not? Nothing can bind me. The last one here. Self is undifferentiated, like the formless sky. There's but one reality, the undifferentiated all. How then could there be union, separation, or pride of attachment? He's the supreme. I am the supreme, the undifferentiated all. How could there be any substance or non-substance? How could there be association or disassociation? How could there be relationship or severance of relationships? Become free of both duality and non-duality. He even says we're here. How can one meditate on forms or formlessness? Beyond all opposites. You cannot know this as one thing knows another. You can only be it, because that's what you are. When Maitreya speaks of the Avadut, he's talking about, where he says I, he's talking about you. He says all first person. I'm beyond both division and non-division. I'm the absolute reality. Within, without, how could I be? I'm the absolute reality. I was never created. I'm not an object with substance. I'm nectarian knowledge, unchanging bliss. I'm everywhere, like space. That I is you. He's just speaking from there. The Avadut. Mary says, thank you. Yeah. Use it. Yeah. Don't use our adversity just to get rid of the adversity. Use it. Milk it for everything it's worth. There's an expression, I hear Muji say it, that the wise man builds a house from the stones his enemy throws at him. Tiffany, Teddy the Fierce are here. Whoever isn't in G's classes, you're missing out. Tiffany says, I just thought to myself, if I had the relationship I wanted without feeling the absence of such a deep desire, I most likely wouldn't be here and doing the looking I'm doing. Bittersweet truth. Yes, it is our unfulfilled desires and our attempts to fulfill them in all sorts of ways that just don't work, that drive us to seek. At first, our seeking is quite immature, quite bungling, and we get a little bit, but it's never quite there. It certainly doesn't last. But if we're sincere, and our time has come, you'll find that the way grace works her magic, and you find yourself encountering and absorbing and even beginning to live that which truly will guide you to the fulfillment of all of it. The deep fulfillment that only can come from you, which then makes it possible to experience the transient, the temporary fulfillments that life can bring. But the wisdom is there that knows that none of that can do this. Nothing we experience, however wonderful, blissful, heavenly, can substitute for knowing yourself as you are. It is the great gold. It is the thing most worth pursuing. And it's not necessarily easy. There's all sorts of ideas and concepts and stuff we have to come to terms with. We live in a time of just an enormous amount of spiritual information. I just can't tell you how many questions I get. But this teacher says this, and this teacher says that, and this teacher says that. Because it's all very confused. And we're trying to sort this all out on our own. Yeah. At some point, you have to get a teacher. And you may make some mistakes about that, too. I've heard that from students, more than one, actually, about they thought this one was it, and the like, and then suddenly, not suddenly, but it was like, they wanted more. They were, they really didn't want you to leave. They didn't want you to grow. They wanted to be in the position of being the teacher, and the like, and sometimes being downright abused, gaslit by a teacher. Well, you just don't understand enough, because if you understand like I did, then you would be acting like this. Oh my God! Yeah. You may have to go through a few of those before you find the one that will guide you, and then you can devote yourself to it. Recognizing that the real teacher will never diminish you, will never discourage you, will never demean you, will never demand from you, will never expect you to be giving things. The real teacher will always be pointing you back to yourself, to invite you into yourself as the ultimate and only authority, and how to access that authority, to really be that, so that self-realization is just that, self-realization. You realizing you. Not somebody giving you something, not some special dispensation, not touching the third eye and expanding consciousness, not plant medicine. None of the ways that they all have their place. But the ultimate truth of you can only come from you. That's why it's called self-realization, self-recognition. You recognizing you. Well, if there aren't any more questions, it's kind of a good note to end on. But I will add, no one, yes, let me see if I can bring this up really quick. Yanni, spirit, awake. Come on, where are you? I have this book somewhere, but I don't know where it is. Spirit, there, conversations. Spirit awake. Let me see. Sorry. Wait for a second. There it is. Whoever knows their self knows their Lord. He's a 13th century Sufi mystic, so he's going to use him, the masculine pronoun for God, but you can put her, as God is neither male nor female. And he says, no one sees him except himself. No one reaches him except himself. And no one knows him except himself. He knows himself through himself, and he sees himself by means of himself. No one but he sees him. No one but he sees him. Right now, you, hearing my words, cognizing, recognizing, being the consciousness that is the ultimate seer of all of this, that is the self. Let that just sink into your hearts. You are that. That's never ever going to change. Yes, there can be a million ideas and thoughts and stuff that's going to come up. It's going to come up. It says you're not. It's going to say, no, you're this person, you're on the way to that. And look at all the bad things you did and stupid in past lives and all of that. Right? All of that's going to be there. A simple negation, a denial of the obvious. I'm the one seeing. I'm the one knowing. And if there's only one seer, one knower, one consciousness, one awareness, I'm it. And all this other stuff is there. I am that. And all that stuff is there. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to change, get better, agree, or anything. It's not, I am that. I am the self, but I still, it can be, I am the self, and this is all still going on. Fine. Does not change the truth. You are that. End of story. Let's take it into your heart. Ponder it. Contemplate it. Just notice the simple sense, I am. And that the I am, you know, is you. It's, who else is it? Who else is recognizing it? And just don't complicate it. Just be with it. Let the truth of you dissolve and eliminate that which is not true. All right, my lovely friends. Until next time, I thank you, Isabel, Ava, Tiffany, Mary, David, and Elaine. Thank you all. Such a pleasure to be with you all. Bye for now.